So remember in the last video how I said this?
You know, maybe multiplayer isn't what we should be trying to focus on.
I lied! I'm a YouTuber, what did you expect? I was gonna be honest all the time? I mean, come on, I faked my accent. I should not be trusted. But yes, while Capcom has been treating the series with the utmost respect, releasing well-received after a fantastically received single-player entries in the franchise, that still hasn't stopped them from pushing their luck. Resident Evil Reverse. Isn't that an interesting name? Either it symbolizes the entirety of this iconic survival horror franchise's legacy, or the developer's favorite car gear.
I love putting it R for race mode.
So what is Reverse? I don't know. Why the hell are you asking me? It's a multiplayer game where you get to take control of your favorite Resident Evil character and kill off the ones you don't like. Because in the world of Resident Evil, favorites are an option. But in a unique twist of events, if you're able to reduce the player's health down to critical, then they're able to actually transform into a monster from the Resident Evil series. Not zombies or ganados though, we don't acknowledge past successes. But as interesting as a concept as this is, in any instances where the words resident and evil are put together. Oh no, wait, hang on. When you put the words Resident Evil and multiplayer together, things aren't exactly gonna be a good ride for me. I do believe I actually posted my past trauma a while ago. But unlike that T-virus outbreak of a video game, this game disappointed me more than made me outright angry. But why is that? Look at how long the rest of the video is and wait.
Resident Evil Reverse.
So obviously we start out in the main menu. Yes, the third time I'm using that joke. Sadly, I hear third time's the charm, meaning that you guys didn't laugh the first two times, so hopefully this time it goes better. And already here I can see something that gives me modern day video game flashbacks. I'll give you a few seconds to realize what it is. Yes, now Resident Evil is able to sell out in 2 games. Alright, so what do we got here? Standard match, passcode match, Hummins, creatures, my bank calling me to ask if I was connected to a fraud transaction, wallpaper, extra, and options. This is certainly a menu. And just look at this absolute masterful work of art we have here on the main menu. Everyone looks like they're waiting for a train that's behind schedule. And Jill's the only one who's fed up. So before starting out a match, let's just have a look and see what all these different settings are. What are humans? After watching the thing, I don't know myself anymore. Yes, how silly of me. We're able to see who's all available to play as. We have a total of 11 different characters, 6 of which you'll recognize and most likely love, and the latter 5... Is that an infection? And it shows us stuff like their weapons as well as their stats. X to customize. What the hell can we do here? Okay, why does it look like I'm filling out a tax document? So what's over in this menu? Oh my goodness, we get to give them different skins that references past games? Oh, this is really cool. Look, we can make Jill Valentine look like... Jill Valentine? Or Nina Williams. Wait, what? We can also get them emotes? Well then... This is kind of disappointing because none of these are showing the characters hitting the gritty, so already my hopes have dropped. We even get to have skins for our guns, and we're even able to make an actual pistol look like a water gun. Oh, this'll make YouTube so happy because it looks like a fake gun, but it's actually a real gun. Alrighty then, so let's have a look at the creatures. Okay, I don't know if you guys have noticed, it seems that we're dealing with a lot less to choose from, which makes total sense. Resident Evil isn't exactly known for its varied enemies. What the hell? We can't even give them emotes? This is extremely discriminatory. I guess the only saving grace we have here is that we can play as one of the most iconic characters in the Resident Evil series, Shirtless Jack Baker. Battle Pass. What do you think this is? You have a pass that rewards you for all the hours you've committed to the game that you really enjoy, or the pass that proves that you have horrible spending habits. Look, there's even challenges. That's awesome, right? I've always wanted to physically carry a disease. Wallpapers. What did you expect? Maybe if they were gifts, I'd be pissing. The art on here is really good, though. I definitely should play the game a lot so that I can unlock them and show off my hard work and dedication.
It's like I always say, steal.
And at the extras menu, we have another menu. This time it shows us stats, the thing that 90% of gamers skip, RP booster history. Why does that sound like an illegal supplement? That must be what Chris uses. And credits for those of you who like to finish early. Well then, since I know as much about playing video games as I know about sheet music, let's see what happens in the tutorial. Oh great, it seems that we're in a one-on-one match against the goat while we're playing as a literal pig. The game teaches us how to do typical video game stuff like moving, aiming, committing homicide. You know, it's kind of like the same thing as the Cuphead tutorial. Then it teaches us how to use medicinal herbs without prescriptions, then how to beat Dark Souls bosses. Woo, look at me go! After recovering from that fat roll, the game teaches us how to use skills. Like in this instant, where Leon Kennedy can transform into Leon Kennedy, or a woman with infinite ammo pistols who thinks it's an extremely good idea to wear swim gear while mountain climbing to a summit. After turning Hunk into a Resident Evil final boss...
I'm so sorry, I don't know why I'm so fucking gassy. Defeat the target with the... I think I've eviscerated the target.
We're then tasked with picking up a virus capsule, which I think is a perfect idea. Why try to stay safe and away from life-threatening diseases when you can just carry that fucker around? You call this a risk, I call it an immunity booster. And this is where the tutorial forcefully switches us to another game mechanic. Yeah, who needs consent? After taking a 9mm slug to the head, we transform into one of the 6 creatures. This one being the Hunter from Resident Evil 3 Remake. But it's all good, because I get to take out my frustration on the guy who domed me while I was reading. We can then use what this game calls thermal vision, which from personal experience, I can tell you that both views look exactly the same in order to locate the enemy. We then spray him with what I hope is acid and something non-phallic, and then we turn into the Demogorgon and give him a big old fleshy hug. I'm the friendliest police officer. And yay, tutorial is complete! So after going through such immense training that I feel like I could easily draft myself into the military, I think it's time that we can go into an actual match. So seeing that I'm trying to forget what a passcode match is, my experience of playing games with room codes has caused me many years of distrust to those whom I call my friends. Let's try a standard match instead. Alright, so let's ready up and see how this goes. This game only released a year ago, so my hopes are a little bit more higher than last time. Okay, cool, we got another person playing for after what felt like 10 minutes. So maybe we can start the game now? I know it's not a full lobby, but maybe... Oh! Well, isn't this a problem? Oh, wait, hang on, it's maybe because it was set to the wrong server. I don't live in Asia. Silly me, how could I forget? Let's try out a European server. Surely this will be a lot more stable and maybe we'll even find more players. Is it safe to say that my hopes are dwindling at this point? Fine, let's try out the country of freedom. This is the country that Resident Evil primarily takes place in, so I would at least hope that the servers are a little bit more active. What? We actually got a match? After my last run-in with a multiplayer exclusive entry to the series, my excitement now is on the same level as the first time I saw my son. It hopefully won't be a disappointment. Okay, we're loading into RPD. Pretty nice and easy map to start off on. If you've ever played the best version of Resident Evil 2, Dead by Daylight, then this should be very familiar to anyone. Alright, we finally loaded it. I hope that I can make a lot of new friends in this game, so let's start. Hi, Ada. I guess we're doing this. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure I just loaded your breeds with more lead than I'm convinced there's plastic, but it's cool. I get to have my redemption arc. Did I just turn into air? Oh, no, wait, hang on. I'm the STI monster from Resident Evil 7. Alrighty, let's see if I can still attain a W. Okay, I'm gonna get you. Don't you fret none. This victory royale will be mine. Oh, shit. And, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think you're supposed to clip into the wall like that, player. Unless there's something in the tutorial I skipped. This is concerning. You know what? Maybe I'm just overthinking. Let's try that again. Okay, now we got a big boy over here. Let's see if we can get the upper hand. Oh, shit. Thanks for interrupting, Claire. I guess it's time for me to have my revengeance, so come back here and get a taste of your own T-virus. Okay, are you even feeling any of this? Are you mocking me? Wait a second, did you just flinch at the air? Did you just roid yourself? Great, I blew up again. Wait, where the hell did she go? Was she ever there to begin with? Hey, wait, never mind, there she is, and she's our revenge target now. Seems to me that making friends in this game isn't gonna be an option anymore. At least my non-existent score will be a good motivator. Okay, cool, a virus capsule. Let me just grab... Wait, what? The ammo and herbs aren't picking up now either? What the hell is happening? Is the game bugged or... Oh no. Come on, just pick this up, please. Just come on, pick this up, please, please, please. Just come on, pick it up. Come on, fucking please, just pick it up. I'm begging you. Okay, cool. Took longer than I would like, but hey, it's alright. I got it now. Okay, there's Jill. The time has finally come to see if I can attain my dub from last place. Well, okay, fine. I'm sure you are a video game protagonist, Jill, but I don't think it's healthy to be replacing your brain matter with lead. She looks like she could be a blood donor if nothing got tainted in the scuffle. Okay, this is just ridiculous. What the hell is going on here? What? Okay, really now? I got 0 points there, so obviously that fatality wasn't my doing. Wait, now who the hell's hitting me? Oh, great. It seems like Hunk is such a go-to character, it seems he can end you without looking at you. Fucking lovely. Oh, okay, wait. We're not an allegory for STD prevention anymore. We're Jack the Baker. Let's see what damage we can pull with this guy. Get your ass back here, you little shit. I think Ethan needs a replacement. Okay, my oversized hedge trimmers aren't doing anything. What is this shit? Okay, what the fuck killed me there? Oh, great. It's Jill. Can't say I haven't seen you in a while. You know, the blood kind of obscured that, and it seems that she's perfectly content with just standing still, so let's take full advantage of that and disconnected due to connectivity issue. So that's what's been going on the entire time. And if seeing the rankings after the match means what I think it means, does that mean the entire match just got cancelled now? So is the stupid connectivity issue not just on my side? Let's just try one more time and see what's going on. Well, wouldn't you look at that? The game just refused to join the match. Oh, why does this seem like it's a pattern with these games? We're one tutorial in and we're one crappy connectivity match in, so it would seem that things are starting to look a little bit dire. But then I remembered there was something called a passcode match. I could use this. So like every other normal YouTuber, I decided to kidnap random people online and force them to play this with me. And seeing as this is me playing video games with people on stream, the government will be none the wiser to my mischievous tomfoolery. So after acquiring my victims, I do see that there's a few cracks in the game I probably wouldn't have found out about had I just stuck with playing standard matches. So as you can see in this lobby here, there are a lot of words. We have the room code and a crossplay option, but now we get to choose a map. But here's the problem. There are only 3 maps. You only have the selection of the RPD from Resident Evil 2, the village from Resident Evil Village, and the Baker household from Resident Evil 7. Why are these the only options, if you don't mind me asking? Did you guys forget that there was a big house with naughty dogs, and not that naughty dog, where Johnny Bravo over here said this?
Wow. What a mansion!
Peak voice acting. It's just as good like it is in Little Big Planet 3.
That's it. Bounce in and out like a
Come on, let's hear it.
bouncing in and out.
And while we're on the topic of bitching, why the hell have we got such an odd selection of characters for this game? 6 out of the 11 characters that are in this game are recognizable, but then we get the 5 characters who were only seen during the ending of Resident Evil Village. And if they were more in the game, like let's say the beginning or anywhere where you meet Chris, then that's still not enough screen time to justify them being here. And not to sound absolutely rude, but 4 out of the 5 characters look exactly the same. The only differences with them are their weapons and their skills, and the only one that I can visually distinguish from all of them is woman. And even on the creature side of things are a little bit odd. We got the giant-ass 2-legged frog from Resident Evil 3's remake. We got Jack Baker from Resident Evil 7, as well as the mold creature, the lichens from Resident Evil 8, Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, and even so, the remake version of Resident Evil 3, not the OG, and the Super Tyrant, which I'm assuming is Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. And if you want to correct me on that, then I do know that you're somebody I should probably get a restraining order against. So I don't exactly understand the whole RE-verse angle. Because if you really wanted to celebrate the franchise, as I'm assuming this game wanted to do, then for humans, why the hell didn't you add more recognizable characters? Instead, you gave us 6 of them and 5 who are not even really playable in the game that introduced them. Why not add people like Wesker, Barry, Rebecca, Billy, Krauser, Sherry, Helena, Jake, people like them? And if you didn't notice, that is 8 additional characters that could have been added aside from the 5 that we got, and they would have been way more recognizable recognizable and just as fun to play with. I even added Billy from Resident Evil 0 and I added characters from 6. Yes, those games may not be too fondly remembered, but fuck it, it's still better than having a reject Splinter Cell crew. And the same goes for the monsters as well. They're trying way too hard to pay homage to the games that didn't even really come out that long ago. And yeah, we have the Super Tyrant along with Nemesis, but still, they represent more the remake era of Resident Evil and not so much the series' long history. Would it have been too difficult for them to give us zombie enemies? The mold things are essentially chunky fuck versions of a zombie, so you can't tell me it wouldn't work. And on top of the zombie enemies, why not then just use Crimson Heads instead? That would make more sense for the type of game, seeing that they were stronger versions of zombies. And what about the Cerberus dogs? You could argue that they're a lot smaller than the enemies that we have here, but then you could use the dogs from Resident Evil 4 with the Plaga behind their back. Then you can shoot either the dogs or the Plaga. And on top of the Plaga enemies, why the hell do we not have the Ganados from Resident Evil 4 along with Dr. Salvador? And to keep up with my pitching, if you have Nemesis and the Super Tyrant, then why the fuck don't we just have William Birkin as well in that case? I'm actually really baffled here as to why Capcom made this game as a whole tribute to the entire series, which I'm assuming was the goal for the game, but they're not really doing a good job with it, because there's so much potential for more characters and more enemies that I'm sure plenty of fans would have loved the opportunity to play as. But alright then, let's just put the bitching to one side. I think I've milked enough watch time out of all of you guys. Let's finally jump into a game with these lovely chaps. I've kept them waiting for too long. The families must be worried sick about them. And let me tell you right here and right now, this is actually where I was starting to have a lot of fun playing this game. Whether or not it was all three of us or just seeing who's the most peak Resident Evil player in a 1v1, a position I sadly failed to attain many times, the fact that the connection was stable and people not using no-clip due to poor netcoding, the game actually shined so much during all of this. So let me finally explain what the hell is going on here. So the game only has one mode. Do not bitch, 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 do not. And it's a plain and simple deathmatch. You know what this is. You know how this works. Hey, I can see you trying to delete your Call of Duty game. Just own up to it, you fuck.
No. It's not what it looks like. Yeah, I'm just trying to turn over a new leaf, you know, and play the best game of all time. Paw Patrol on a roll.
But there's a twist. Once you dome a person from across the map while rotating 360 degrees, when you die, you don't just immediately die, you transform into a random creature from the Resident Evil series. And when in this form, you have a set time limit to kill as many other players as you can before they kill you again. And scattered throughout the map, you can also pick up these virus capsules in order to transform into much stronger creatures. So when you have nothing, you'll be the weakest link that everyone makes fun of behind their backs to the actual Giga Chad monster that no one should fuck with if you collect enough samples. But to prevent that from happening, there are green herbs scattered throughout the map that can heal you. You also only have two weapons from the start. One sidearm that has infinite bullets but is weaker, and another one that the game labels as a personal weapon, much like Lo Wang's katana.
I like sword. That's a personal weapon.
Haha, reference. And the personal weapon does sadly not have infinite ammo, so there are ammo boxes scattered throughout the map for you to replenish your ammo. But there are also special weapons hidden throughout the map, stuff like a rocket launcher, a grenade launcher, and lastly, this. And seeing that these are special weapons, that means that they only get one bullet each, because in most cases the weapon can one-shot humans. And aside from running and gunning like you're a COD player who only sees red and doesn't know what the concept of grass even is, how does the game actually control? Well, really well, all things considered. This game still uses the RE engine, you know, the engine that started its life on the best Resident Evil game of all time, Devil May Cry 5. And if I had to compare the controls to anything, it controls basically the same as Resident Evil 2 and 3's remake, except this time laced with meth. Because this being a hardcore bad-to-the-bone multiplayer shooter, the speed has been ramped up significantly, and for the style of game that this is, I think that works fine. But sadly, this now means that the characters move so fast and erratic, I'm convinced they didn't make it to the bathroom after they got diagnosed with IBS. Along with that, they're now able to tap into their inner Dark Souls player and dodge roll all over the place. But in an attempt, I guess, to limit our safety from becoming a block of Swiss cheese, they decided to limit us to only 2 dodge rolls, then we need to wait for it to recharge. And I guess the last thing that I need to bring up is the fact that every single character has their own unique abilities that are either used as defensive or offensive abilities. Like as previously mentioned, Leon can either roundhouse kick you or whip out 2 pistols like he could in Resident Evil 6. To other characters like Claire, who can either throw out a shock grenade that stuns enemies enemies for a brief moment, or inject yourself with supplements that'll cause her to get banned at Olympic events. Now, I'm really not gonna go out of my way to talk about every single character's abilities because I'm not an author, but what I will say though is that every ability brings its own benefits and can also change the tides of the match in your favor if you're smart with them. And each of them are faithful to the character's personalities. Like Chris, who can punch things because that's all that he knows. So that's pretty much for the gameplay. Now, let's talk about the music. I didn't know that they hired the same guy that did Sonic Chronicles soundtrack. This is amazing. And now I guess this is pretty much the only other thing I really need to talk about, is that sometimes the game can really feel unbalanced. Good thing Capcom knows that most multiplayer games have balance issues and followed suit. Now, I wouldn't say that the game really is all that unbalanced. I didn't feel like any other characters have broken abilities or one character is much stronger than the other. Nothing like that. What I mean is, I don't think the game has got any iframes. Yes, a thing that I've noticed in this game is when you shoot someone or hit them as a creature, those fuckers are fucked. Like in this one instance, I was playing as Nemesis, I hit my buddy with a rocket launcher and I was still able to beat his ass while he was down, thus killing him. I mean, what kind of shit is that? I can understand this with weapons. You still need to aim precisely in order to make shots count, and with the addition of the dodge roll, that means it makes it even harder to hit your enemies. So that basically means you could end up stun locking someone and then all they can do is just sit there and take it like you're that one student who got in trouble because of some other asshole shit. But aside from all those issues, the game was actually really fun to play. I streamed this a few times and we were just goofing around talking about the game and Resident Evil in general, and playing the game didn't feel like a slog or anything, just two by the numbers. So I guess if you're a Resident Evil fan, I guess this is probably the best competitive game out of every single one that I played, but that's not saying that much now, is it? But seeing as you guys have probably read the title of the video, I think it's time that we discuss why this game was kinda doomed from the start. Resident Evil RE-verse is essentially an overglorified add-on. What does that mean exactly? Why the hell am I supposed to tell you everything? Because much like Capcom's previous attempt of breathing some multiplayer life into the franchise with the last entry, Resident Evil Resistance, we just gotta keep the RE puns going now, don't we? Resident Evil RE-verse was a multiplayer companion piece to Resident Evil Village, meaning that the only way how you're able to play this game is if you buy the big boy alternative. Now, I can definitely say without a doubt, the game that you got along with this one is 100% way better. But that's not exactly a good way to sell your multiplayer game now if you're trying to promote it as a separate entity, now is it? They're essentially forcing someone to buy the at the moment $40 main game just to play a passable multiplayer game. So with that logic already in mind, I don't even think Capcom themselves really had much faith in this project, which by all means makes sense, I guess. They've only been striking gold with their single player releases in the franchise. But then my biggest question would be, why even bother at this point? Why do you even bother with multiplayer games when you know that's not where your core audience is? Why not just, instead of expending resources on something that you know may not even end up performing that well, just allocate every single resource that you have so that you can put more effort into the games that everyone actually loves? And you know what? I actually think maybe that's what Capcom started doing, because Resident Evil 4 Remake is definitely one of the highest quality products Capcom has put out. And I think the main reason why that is that they didn't focus on anything that fans had no interest in, and at the end of the day, I think that was the right move. But since we're still able to play this game, what exactly is the current state of RE-verse as of this moment? Well, from what I was able to figure out, the last update for actual content was released all the way back in January of this year, and the last thing the official Twitter account posted was on the 7th of February. So it's really unfair to say that this game is dead, because it would seem that there is still a team that's doing stuff like maintaining the servers and stuff. So I guess you could say that people still care enough about this game to keep it going, but in my experience, not being able to connect to some games, and when I do, the network is as stable as my bladder after I went out drinking in high school, the lack of content that's in this game, and the fact that the last official tweet about this game was made over 2 months ago, I should rather ask this. Isn't it just for the best to leave the game and move on to something else? I guess that would be a major oof for some people who spend money on this game for stuff like the Battle Pass and stuff, but for those of you who did, what the fuck were you thinking?
Well then, I guess it's time for the epic video game review opinion section of this video. Can I recommend Resident Evil RE-verse? Yes, but once again, only under extremely rare circumstances, if you have friends. But yeah, no, I can definitely see that there is so much potential to this game, and if you and a few friends can get together and just play the thing, then you're gonna have a good time. But right now, the only 3 map limit, the characters that aren't too special aside from the mainstays of the franchise, and just like also the creatures and shit. I just still think that there's so much untapped potential that can be unlocked with this game if Capcom just gave it a little bit more time and focus and, you know, just listened and gave us more, like, content down the line. But as of what I've researched, I don't think that's gonna be the case anytime soon. Now, do I think that Capcom should continue with multiplayer games for the franchise? Personally, I don't think so. Although I have the other day realized that I think that multiplayer games could work in Resident Evil if it was done in a more co-op setting instead of competitive. Like I said, Operation Raccoon City was decent, and I've even completely forgot about these 2 games. Outbreak 1 and 2 seems to be very beloved by many, and they were multiplayer co-op games. Hell, one of my viewers on stream even told me that they should probably just rather make a multiplayer focused version of the Mercenaries. That was super fun to play in Resident Evil 5 and 6 with a friend, so I cannot see how that wouldn't work in today's day and age. But in my opinion, I just think that Capcom needs to axe the entire idea of making multiplayer exclusive entries into this franchise. Is this gonna probably be the case? No. But for the time being, I don't really think that Capcom is done trying to figure out how to break through this entire, like, how to break through and try and get a multiplayer audience for the franchise. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Poncho and Notorious for joining me on the 2 occasions that I streamed this game. Without you guys, I would probably not be able to make this video, and thank you also so much to everybody who joined those streams that also helped me come up with some ideas for jokes in this video. So genuinely, thank you guys so much for helping out with this. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider dropping a like, maybe hit that subscribe button if you guys want. If you guys didn't like this video, I'm going to gift you Umbrella Corps. Also, a quick apology that I want to give for, like, the iffy quality of the video and the iffy audio that I also have in this video. I cannot speak English today. As you guys can see, I got a new mic recently. I was still, at that time, when I was busy recording the video, I didn't know how to, like, distance it from my mouth and stuff to get rid of the plosives and stuff. And as for the video quality, all of that footage was taken from a combination of my YouTube and Twitch streams. So if they look a little bit crappy, that's why. I'm not going to be repeating that same mistake again in the next video. But again, I've been John from the channel with the freakishly long name. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.